What's up, people? How is everybody doing? We're doing fine. We got 5 things to talk about today.
We don't have 5 things to talk about. We have one thing to talk about. Long
Oh, yeah.
distance relationship survival. And we've broken it into 5.
5 tips.
Did we get 5?
We had more, actually. We had more, but we just say, you know what? Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it at that.
Because they can be grouped. Let's just get the fact that this pimple right here is annoying me.
Let me lick it.
Don't. So we're just going to pretend. Point it out, okay? Just. I know, okay? I know it's there. It came up like 5 seconds before we decided to turn on the camera.
Babe,
Okay,
babe,
it's just life.
Babe, all you gotta do is lean it real back like that, and then it's all gone. See?
Okay.
There you go. That's all
I
they
look,
like that.
I look weird like this.
No, babe, you're a gangster. That's like,
Gangster.
yeah.
Anyway, let's get to the point.
Right.
So, tip number 1.
Don't
do it.
do it. Do not.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's really
Don't do it.
challenging. It's really hard. I ain't gonna lie. It's really hard. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Tip number 1 is don't do it. Like, we're being actually
We're
serious.
being serious. No, we're really being serious.
Don't do it. Like,
Don't
okay,
do
if you don't have to do it, don't do it. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But if you're brave and you're strong and you're really committed to this person and the idea that you and this person want to be together, then listen to the rest.
Tip number 2, communication.
Actually, tip number 1 then. Number 1 wasn't really a tip. Tip number 1, did we say? Yeah, communication.
Communication.
Obviously, very important.
Very, very, very.
That you
very,
speak
very,
to each other
very important.
daily. Like nowadays, it's not like back in the day when you had a pen pal, you had to send a letter, wait for the letter to come back and all those things. You know, you can
We got
text,
technology.
you can send Facebook
Snapchat,
message, Snapchat,
the Insta,
WhatsApp,
the WhatsApp.
Skype. But anyway, the point is communicate, have some kind of plan on
Yeah.
which you guys communicate at least daily, because you don't have to like carry on a long conversation for
Right.
1-2 hours. It could just be like, hey, morning, what's up, or how was your day, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So number 2, real tip, or fact, somebody gotta move. Somebody has to move.
Somebody
unless
has to
you
move.
live close enough together and you're okay with having a continuous, like, sometimes you live here and sometimes you live here, which leads us to the next one, which is you have to have an end game in sight. Now, as Theo mentioned, when we started, like when we reconnected on Facebook, for those of y'all who don't know, and we decided that we wanted to date, we didn't really have any idea of how it was going to work.
Yeah, how's that going to
Because
work?
he was in, as he mentioned, he was in college in the States,
Yeah.
and I was at culinary school in
Yep.
Trinidad, and I think our plan was he was like, I'm supposed to be going to Jamaica for a summer holiday, and I was like, I might go to Jamaica for summer holiday, so if we both go to Jamaica for summer holiday, then we'll see each other when we're in Jamaica. It just so happened that I was fortunate enough to win a scholarship to finish my last semester of culinary school, thank you, in Canada. And even though it was it was in Sarnia, Ontario, which I had never heard of. The only thing I knew of Sarnia was that it rhymed with Narnia, Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe. That was it. But I was like, yep, I'm getting a scholarship to go there, I'm gonna go. So when I was in Canada, he actually traveled to come see me. He traveled a ridiculous. He had to get a ride.
I had to get a ride.
Take a taxi, take a train,
take
a bus.
I had to save a baby twice, and then I had to go around and beat up a bad guy because he wanted to take the baby I had.
The baby you saved.
Yeah, it was a good distance.
The point was, we didn't have a plan. We had a very poorly etched plan, if any plan at all. It just so happened that, the scholarship worked out as an opportunity for us to see each other. And at that point, it was like, wow, you definitely are exactly the same way online, in person.
Right,
So
that was
then
actually cool.
That
was
for
actually
us
really cool.
kind of just solidified that
yeah.
we wanted, to try and make it work. Because,
yeah.
the same, we talk online every day.
Every day.
And
every
talk online every day,
day.
send text messages every day,
Commitment.
literally drop asleep in front of Skype.
Yep.
You know,
Pretty much.
some evil people have video recordings of possibly. You see, sometimes there's a monster that sleeps under my bed because I don't snore.
Aisha, she's not.
Not this girl. She don't do it. So,
Yeah.
have a plan.
Have a plan.
Okay?
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Have a plan for an end game, because you can't just.
You can't just, because
do
this
this
is time.
forever.
Remember, this is time that you are actually trying to invest in somebody.
Yeah.
And yes, I know the backup.
You're like, oh, but I love them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But if the other person's saying, hey, this is too much for me, then it's gonna
It's gonna
easy.
break down.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna break down. Like, you have to decide whether you're able to do it or not.
Or not, yeah.
And for some people, 5 years is a long time. Like, saying, okay, we're gonna be long distance for 5 years. Like, one person that might be okay with that, and another
Right.
person is not okay with that. So you have to
Exactly.
come to an agreement as to how long you are willing to carry on as long distance for. And I think for us it was gonna be 3 or so years.
It was 3 years.
We had said 3 years, and then things happened, and it ended up being more than that. But
Yeah.
at that point, we were already married.
Yeah.
we were long distance. Then we got married, and we weren't supposed to be long
long
distance
distance,
after
but
we
it's
got
still-
married. But
we
then
still- we-
situations that
Things
were out of
happen.
our control meant that even after getting married, we were long distance for a little while again. So let's do a little recap, because I myself am getting lost. So we talked about communication.
No, we said no. Don't do it. That's the first thing we said.
We said don't do it.
Don't do it. Seriously, don't do it.
Don't do it.
If you're serious, do it. But don't do it.
So we said that, and then we said communication, have to have an end game, and somebody got to move.
Yeah.
All right. Aside from that, we had talked about doing things together, even though, like, still having special dates or special
Right.
times, even though you're
Yeah,
apart.
Right.
So yes, you talk online every day,
Yeah.
but
that will eventually get boring.
Right.
I know it will get boring, and then you'll try to spice it up a bit, and then it seems forced, which it might be, but at the same time, you're investing time into somebody that you actually want to spend time with.
So
The little chit chats, it will mean something at the end of it. That's the point I'm trying to bring.
And honestly, like, when we say spend time together, it doesn't. One of the things that we used to do a lot, like especially when we were in college, was we would have like the Skype or whatever window open,
Yeah,
and
and
we
we would
just
just do
mute the
something.
other person and just do whatever,
Yeah.
just so like it feels like the other person is there.
There.
So if I'm
It's crazy, but it actually no, seriously, it is like when we look back at it, you're like, damn, these people are really crazy.
you have to
But
be a little bit crazy.
yeah, you have to be.
If
It-
you
it does-
ignored our advice and decided that you're gonna do the
it.
long distance, you have to be a little bit crazy,
Crazy.
to make it work.
Yeah.
Because for our first wedding anniversary, actually, we went out separately together on a date.
Yep.
So he was
for
in
the
the
same
States.
for the same dish.
Right, so he was in the States, I
Yeah.
was in Canada. So we went out for sushi, together, separately. I went to a sushi
Ain't that
restaurant.
crazy? It's cool though, but it's crazy, right?
So I went to a sushi
That's what we did.
restaurant. He went to a sushi restaurant, and we Skyped while at the restaurant. So, yeah, my data bill for that month was
Yeah,
kind of high.
A little bit.
But it was our anniversary.
It was our anniversary.
So, right, but
You gotta
the
be
waitress,
crazy.
yeah, you have to be crazy.
You gotta
'Cause, I
be
mean, the
crazy.
waitress is looking at me like, why are you Skyping your food? Like, who is this person that you're talking to while
Right.
you're eating? Because I literally got to the restaurant, set up my phone at an angle so that he can see everything that I'm eating, and
Yeah.
sitting down at my table by myself,
Right.
dressed all cute,
Yeah.
to be on this Skype call with
Yeah.
him. But you know what? We had fun.
We did have fun.
Travel,
Travel.
which is a part of having a plan. I think we were aiming for seeing each other every 3 months.
Yeah,
Of course,
3 to 4.
the way your bank account is set up is going to determine how often you can see each other.
And sometimes it just end up to twice for the year.
Yeah, and sometimes it's your bank account, but sometimes it's other things like geography. In our case, where he was, you would literally have to travel an entire day almost. There were no direct flights.
Yep.
between the 2 points. So it's not like you can be like, oh, I have a long weekend this weekend, or you have like a 4-day weekend.
Gotta request the time
You
off.
have to request the time off way in advance. So obviously, if you're in a situation where it's just like a few hours flight and you can travel, then you want to make the effort to at least see each other at some point.
Yeah.
Now, just because I know that this is one of the questions or the comments we all.
I know y'all thinking it.
I know you're thinking.
I know you're thinking it.
So we're just gonna
say
come out and say it.
People
go
cold showers for me, guys. Cold showers. Okay, keeps it tight. Keeps it. Yeah. Nothing happens.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
When I introduced this gentleman right here to one of my friends from high school who shall remain nameless, Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah.
I know.
Her comment was, jeez. Thank God for masturbation. You know what the truth is? Sex is a lot of things, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
And when you're in a long distance relationship, at the end of the day, what you miss most about your partner is just like the regular day by day things.
Yeah.
Just being able to come home and unload on somebody what happened, because I talk a lot.
Yeah,
I'm always talking.
She's the venter.
So when I come home,
I'm the listener.
I have got to tell him
I'm the listener.
everything.
I'm like,
from the sun
like,
was
what?
in this position in the sky.
The sun?
And then, honey, a cloud went past it.
You did not tell me that, girl.
And then this person had the nerve
To do what?
to ask me if I eat butter.
Who wanna eat butter?
What kind of question is that, right? But the
But
point,
yeah. I listen.
you talk to, so stop
I,
saying lie.
I ain't gonna lie, I do, but for the most part, it's like 65% talk, the rest I listen. It's fair.
Okay, fine, that's fair. I talk a lot.
Yeah.
He listens a lot, so
listen.
it works.
But now I don't want to be a party pooper,
You want to party?
but we have to talk about bad things,
What bad things?
like the effects, like the
Oh,
emotional.
yes,
That's where it might become a little bit tricky right now. Okay, so this part now, because we've been so far apart for a lot longer periods of time, we tend to get numb at times.
Yeah.
We tend to get numb. We're like,
Yeah,
we
because-
don't, we know what we're experiencing, and we know it's about to come to an end, and we can't wait till that end comes, but it's just taking forever. And then we, if you're not strong enough, to me, it's too easy to just go out and get another woman. I've invested so many time with this lady right here, crazy lady right here, online. Why would I just go out and easily do that? It's like all of that 2 years, 3 years just meant nothing to me. So that's why you have to be serious about this thing. This ain't no play game. This is legit.
This is legitness.
This is real legitness. You know what I mean? So
That's not what I thought you were gonna say, though. I thought
for
you were
real?
gonna talk about the fact that one of the disadvantages of being in a long distance relationship for so long is that part of your coping strategy has to be that you can't get too hung up on not being physically together for certain events. So for like some people, like whatever your favorite holiday is, for example, you may not get to spend that with the person.
Yeah.
So whether for you that's New Year's,
Birthday,
Valentine's
maybe.
Day, your birthday, Christmas, whatever, right? So obvious is that your partner is not there all
Gotta
the
be,
time.
yeah.
So that's number one. That's what sucks the most about being in a long distance relationship. What you may not realize is happening, and this one is a bit deeper, is that you tend to become numb, because it has to be a part of your coping strategy.
Yeah.
Because the person is not there, you don't get to spend days that are important to you or maybe the other person necessarily together. So
Right.
missed birthdays, missed anniversaries, if you like New Year's, Christmas, like Valentine's Day, whatever. And
those moments won't.
You just don't have them.
Don't have them,
and
yeah.
you basically, you know that you're in a long distance relationship. You've already gone through all the steps. You made your plans. You blah 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 blah. You already know that you're going to be in this relationship for 3 years, but it doesn't change the fact that for those 3 years, there's going to be a New Year's, there's going to be a Valentine's Day, there's going to be a birthday, at least 2. There's going to be all these different holidays that you're not necessarily going to be together for. And so because you already knew that, you kind of set in your mind, you know what? It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So, kind of saying to yourself, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. After a while, you just, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
some of these holidays kind of lose their
value
significance,
or
like while everybody
oomph
else,
that
while
they
everybody
have.
else is enjoying it, you're just like, man, whatever, it's alright.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because I remember saying to Webster when we finally knew that this was finally going to be over.
Yeah.
I was like, babe, we've been together, we've been apart for so long. This year we're gonna celebrate the shit out of everything. If it's hot dog day, we celebrating hot dogs. And we found ways to make it fun and make it work. So obviously, don't do it. But if you do,
We already gave you the
we
blueprint.
already gave you the blueprint. If you have any more questions,
Yeah.
feel free to ask. If you think there's anything that we forgot, if
Yeah.
any of you are in a long distance relationship,
Yep.
share what your top tips are for long distance relationships in the comment section below.
Below.
Hit like if you like
Subscribe
this video.
for these crazy people.
Subscribe for more and share with your friends who might be considering having a long distance relationship. And to the ones that already are, send them this video. Tell them it can be done. Here we are, like 5 million years later. See, not 2010. We started back.
We started in
We
2010.
reconnected in 2010. It is
2010.
2016.
6 years.
6 years. Boom. Boom. Okay,
We did it.
we did it.
All right, guys.
Bye.
See you later.